Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to look up at the night sky and dive into one of its most beautiful and timeless stories, the Chinese myth of Chang'e, the goddess on the moon. You ever look up at a full moon and get a feeling that it's looking back at you? Well, according to this legend, it just might be. Because supposedly, etched right onto its silvery face, is this incredible story of heroism, of impossible choices, and a love that literally spans the cosmos. Okay, let's get into it.
Our story kicks off not on the moon, but right here on an Earth that's in serious trouble. And it all starts with a hero whose actions would change not only the fate of the world, but his own life forever. So we're talking about the archer, Hao Yi. This is a guy whose deeds were so huge they were just destined to become myth. You know, he wasn't just a famous warrior. He was truly legendary. So what exactly did he do that was so great? Picture this. There aren't one, but 10 suns blazing in the sky. They're scorching the earth, threatening all life. It's an apocalypse. So, in this unbelievable act of heroism, Hu Yi pulls back his bow and shoots down 9 of them. Just like that, he saves the world from total destruction. As a reward for, saving all of existence, the gods give Hou Yi a gift that's just as massive, a magical potion, an elixir that could grant immortality. This powerful and really dangerous gift is about to become the center of our whole story. But see, Hu Yi didn't want to live forever if he couldn't be with his wife, Chang'e, who he loved dearly. So instead of drinking the elixir himself, he entrusted it to her. He asked her to keep it safe. And that single act of trust puts the fate of this divine power right in her hands. All right, let's get to the moment where the entire story pivots. We're talking about a crisis that forces Chang'e to make a choice that is just as heartbreaking as it is heroic. So one day, Hu Yi is out. He's away from home. And a thief who knows about the elixir's power breaks in. He is determined to steal it for himself. Chang'e is all alone. She's cornered, and she's facing this awful choice. Does she let this immense power fall into the hands of a selfish man? Or does she do something completely unthinkable? In that one desperate moment, her choice becomes crystal clear. Her duty, she felt, was to protect that elixir, and by doing that, protect the world. She saw only one way out, even if it meant she'd be alone for all of eternity. And right here, the moral heart of the story just snaps into focus. You've got the thief, driven by pure greed, this selfish hunger for power. And then you have Chang'e, motivated by this deep need to protect everyone else. With no time to lose, no time to wait for her husband, she drank the elixir herself. It was the ultimate sacrifice. As soon as she drank it, her body became weightless. She started to float up and away from her home, away from her husband, rising toward the one place she knew she could guard its power forever, the moon. So Chang'e becomes the immortal moon goddess. But what does that actually mean? What does eternal life really look like when you're spending it in the quiet emptiness of space? This is the true cost of her choice. She absolutely saved the world, but in doing so, she was separated from her husband forever. When Hou Yi got back and found out what had happened, he was completely heartbroken. All he could do was look up at the moon and see the face of his wife, so far away. But here's an interesting twist. The legend doesn't really paint her new life as just being lonely. Instead, it talks about a quiet solitude, a state of being alone that's actually peaceful, kind of graceful, as she watches over us from her new home, the beautiful and silent moon palace. And in this stunning, otherworldly place, she isn't entirely by herself. She has a loyal companion, the Jade Rabbit. He's another famous figure from mythology, and the story goes that he's up there constantly pounding the ingredients to make more of the elixir of life. The Jade Rabbit is also a really powerful symbol of this exact same idea, selflessness. Just like Chang'e, the rabbit stands for a deep commitment to a cause that's bigger than yourself. And together, from the Moon Palace, they watch over the mortal world down below. So this is the crucial question, isn't it? How does a story that's all about eternal separation become one of the most important symbols of togetherness in an entire culture? Let's unpack how this tragedy blossoms into this beautiful tradition. The legend of Chang'e is really the heart and soul of the Mid-Autumn Festival. On this one night, when the moon is at its absolute biggest and brightest, families gather, they share mooncakes, these round pastries that symbolize wholeness and reunion, and they just give thanks for each other.
And isn't that just a beautiful irony? A myth that's born from a heartbreaking separation ends up inspiring a holiday that's all about reunion, about gathering together. People look up at that same moon that Chang'e and Hui shared, and they remember how important it is to cherish the people you love while you can still be close.
So why does this story still matter so much? Because it takes this incredibly personal act of sacrifice and turns it into a message for all of us. It tells us that true love and truly selfless acts create a kind of connection that not even the insane distance between the Earth and the moon can ever break.
And this leaves us with a really fascinating thought to chew on. The story of Chang'e shows us that sometimes it's the stories about loss and distance that actually remind us most powerfully to pull our loved ones close. They teach us to make our own reunions, right here under the light of that very same moon. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.